This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. I have a lot of important topics to cover in this video. So 2 new states are giving out hazard pay and stimulus payments. I'll let you know which states and how much, and I'll also give you a general overview of stimulus checks. When it comes to the big stimulus package, there was 2 epic meetings that happened yesterday. One between Joe Manchin and Pramila Jayapal. I'll play a video clip of what Pramila Jayapal said came out of that meeting. And then the second, Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders sat face to face. This is after their personal conflict that happened just a few days ago. I'll let you know what came out of that meeting as well. Joe Manchin has set a new requirement for the child tax credit, $60,000 cap, and a work requirement. Also, AOC calls out Kyrsten Sinema for choosing lobbyists over people. I'll give you some other more important updates, then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Mainers, people from Maine earning less than $75,000 will soon get a $300 hazard pay check as part of an $8.5 billion state budget agreement, which was decided on in June. It's going to start November 1st, and many Mainers are going to start to see $300 checks show up in the mail, and it's $150,000 for joint filers for this one-time $300 hazard pay payment. And then also in Arizona, we'll spend $36 million to help families pay utility bills as a moratorium on service cutoffs expires. So those are 2 big payments, especially with it getting colder. Utility payments will definitely help out there. Next, let's talk about what's going on with the $1,400 check. So articles are coming out, multiple articles every single day on the senior $1,400 stimulus check. So stimulus check update, here's who may be getting another $1,400 check. So not sure what their publicity plan is, but every single day the Senior Citizens League is putting out articles talking about the $1,400 stimulus check. What they said here is, we've heard from thousands of them, seniors who have exhausted their retirement savings, who have started eating just 1 meal a day, started cutting their pills in half because they can't afford the prescription drugs, to list just a few drastic steps so many have had to take because of the inflation that has gone on, that has been done to them this year. So now they're proposing $1,400 one-time stimulus checks, but I would argue not just for senior citizens, but for a lot of other people like veterans, people on disability. They're going through the same struggles of living off a fixed income and barely having enough food to eat. So I think it's good that seniors may get a $1,400 stimulus check, although it's not in any package and no politicians have endorsed it. I do think that it should be brought into a wider category of people who are struggling though. When it comes to the change.org $2,000 per month for a fourth stimulus check, it's currently at 2,932,000 signatures, and still no checks have been entered into any big package or even mentioned within the past few weeks or months. In terms of publicity, the general fourth stimulus check or $2,000 has not made it into the press anytime recently. So one of the 2 catalysts, there may be 2 catalysts that I think could cause more support for a fourth stimulus check. So yesterday's video I mentioned how grocery store shelves are bare. So this article right here, grocery store shelves bare. These products may be hard to find amid supply chain disruption. So I mentioned this and spoke about it in yesterday's video, got a ton of comments of people all around the country saying that shelves are bare, it's hard to find food. I'm going to give you some specific examples later on, but that may be the reason or the catalyst to spark a new demand for stimulus checks, or maybe some type of food stimulus. Also, utility bills are going up too, which with the colder months coming, that could be really expensive for people, especially in fixed income. So either utility or food, if those 2 issues aren't addressed, there's going to be some serious issues for Americans. So that may be the reason to have more stimulus checks come. I'll keep you updated on that. Now, when it comes to the big packages, so Democratic infighting puts October spending bill deadline in doubt. So the deadline October 31st. Originally, the deadline was supposed to be at the end of September, and it just got blown again up to October 31st. So a lot of fighting that's going on now. Now with all this fighting, finally some meetings are happening in person rather than just people talking to interviewers or putting out tweets or calling each other out. They're actually sitting face to face. So Manchin meets with Sanders and Jayapal amid spending stalemate. So they actually met face to face. One meeting with Joe Manchin, where Joe Manchin met separately with Pramila Jayapal, who's a Progressive Caucus Chair leader, and then one meeting with Bernie Sanders. Now, ultimately, the battle has come down to Bernie Sanders versus Joe Manchin. I'll go over that in a moment. But first, when it comes to the meeting between Jayapal and Manchin meet for first time as negotiations over spending bill ramp up. And it's been getting really serious. I'm going to play you this video clip right here of Pramila Jayapal after the meeting with Joe Manchin. Take a look at this.
Joining us now is Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She is chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and she has had quite a day. Congresswoman Jayapal, it's a real pleasure to have you here. Thanks for making time.
It's great to see you.
So again, I'm watching from the cheap seats, as is everybody in the country who is a stakeholder in this fight, who cares about this policy, who knows how transformative this bill would be if it passes, and even people who aren't invested in the policy, who just can't believe the drama and how this is spooling out across personalities and across time. What can you tell us about that meeting with Senator Manchin and how we should understand it in terms of whether this thing is going to get?
Well, Rachel, I have said for some time that we're going to get them both done. We are going to get them done. It's a messy process. You know, democracy is not always easy. Negotiation is not always easy. There are differences. Everybody knows that there are differences. We got to bridge them and we got to come together, because at the end of the day, we have to deliver both these bills, the infrastructure bill and the Build Back Better Act, to the president. I have always been happy to talk to anybody. It was great to spend time with Senator Manchin today. I'm not going to get into the details of what we talked about, but I just think it is important for us to be talking to each other. I felt that way for some time. And I think that those conversations are important to have, because we're not going to be able to make progress unless we all talk to each other. And so that's what today was about. Also, you know, meeting with the president, and really, again, this is the president's agenda. And I am really proud of the Progressive Caucus for what we did to actually get the Build Back Better Act back onto the table and have us negotiating on it, have a real discussion around it. Because unlike the bipartisan bill, which you and I talked about, and I think we were both kind of skeptical, honestly, that it was going to get done, but it took 5 months and eventually it got done. But this also has really only been 2 weeks of negotiation. It's only since the Progressive Caucus said we're not going to do one without the other that we then were able to get people to take this negotiation seriously and come to the table. And that's what we're doing right now. I'm not saying it's going to, you know, I don't know that it's going to be done tomorrow, right? We're going to keep having these conversations. I'm back at the White House tomorrow with some of my progressive colleagues. I know the president's also doing another meeting with some of the other centrist Democrats. But this is important. And I do think it's important that the president himself has been really engaged, because as I've been saying on TV, I said it to him directly. He thanked me for this. It's the president's agenda. This is the agenda that Joe Biden ran on, the Democrats ran on. And now we have to deliver it, all of us. And he is at the center of that. And he is working very hard to get us to resolution.
Do you believe that Senator Manchin wants to pass the Build Back Better Act? You said at the very top of your remarks there that you believe that both of these things will pass. If he doesn't want Build Back Better to pass, it won't pass. Do you believe that he wants a bill and it's just a matter of finding what it is exactly that he can say?
Yes, I do believe that. And I don't think he would have all these discussions if that wasn't the case. There are differences. Some of them have been reported in the papers. There are differences in terms of what our states. I mean, one of the things that's always interesting for me when when I'm talking to people that are from very different states is just to listen and hear. Okay, what is it like in your state, and vice versa. And so I think that is an important part of getting to understand where somebody's coming from in any negotiation that I've ever been in. And I think, obviously the main negotiations have been happening primarily between the two senators and the White House, and then between us and the White House. But this was an important step for us to listen to each other directly, and to be able to say that, for example, for me to be able to say, yes, I do believe that Senator Manchin wants a bill to pass. Is it a different bill than the bill I want to pass? Yes. Are we going to get to some resolution? I believe so. But it may take a little bit of time. It may look opaque on the outside. And it may be frustrating because, I don't think anybody's going to get everything they want. And I think that is true. That is the reality. But can we do something that is truly transformative for the country, that really does provide universal childcare, pre-K, home and community-based care, a real investment in climate? I mean, all of the things, housing, all of the things we've been talking about, I do think that we will deliver something very transformative for the country.
What are your thoughts on what Pramila Jayapal had to say about the meeting with Joe Manchin? Are things going to get done? Are we going to see some type of action being taken? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about the big meeting between Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders. So the fight between Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders over the Biden agenda is getting very, very personal. So before I get to the meeting, just want to give some build up and backstory what happened here. So this is what Bernie Sanders said in a newspaper in Joe Manchin's state, West Virginia. So he wrote an op-ed here. He said, poll after poll shows overwhelming support for this legislation, yet the political problem we face is that in a 50-50 Senate, we need every Democratic senator to vote yes. We now have only 48. 2 Democratic senators remain in opposition, including Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Joe Manchin responded, or actually he goes on further and says, Congress should proceed with caution on any, or actually, sorry, this is what Joe Manchin said. He said, Congress should proceed with caution on any additional spending and will not vote for a reckless expansion of government programs. No op-ed from a self-declared independent socialist is going to change that, referring to Bernie Sanders. So now let's talk about the big meeting and what came out of it. So Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders all smile, saying, we're talking about reconciliation bill. If we look at this picture right here, you can see Joe Manchin has his arm around Bernie Sanders, both smiling as if they're best buds. You would never know that they're having these huge conflicts.
Here, get a picture. You want to get a picture of us? Get a picture of us, huh? We're talking. All right, we're talking.
You're going to have a resolution by the end of the week?
We're talking. We're talking. We're going to make some progress.
Senator Sanders, you prepared to make some deep cuts to climate change and other things like that?
Okay, so much vehicles, please. Come on out.
So what came out of this specific meeting? So if we look here, basically, Joe Manchin said, we're talking in a statement, and then Bernie Sanders again stated that we're talking, and then moments earlier, Sanders told reporters, I think there is a general feeling that negotiations have been going on for month after month after month, and that it is time that we brought this thing to a head as soon as we possibly can, and I would hope that we're going to see some real action within next week or so. So not really talking about what came out of the meeting, basically just saying we're talking, and Bernie Sanders is saying that hopefully we could get to a solution within the next week or so. Well, we have an October 31st deadline, although there's no consequences to that October 31st deadline. I guess one of the consequences is every deadline that just blows by, the American people is just more distrustful of Congress and of our government. Also, Senator Joe Manchin is demanding Biden's child tax credit come with an income cap around $60,000 and a work requirement, report says. This is, we heard that Joe Manchin wanted to have some restrictions with the child tax credit, which is paying $250 to $300 per month, depending on the kid's age. But let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think that a cap, meaning that anyone making more than $60,000 should not get a child tax credit, and that a child tax credit should have a work requirement? Let me know down in the comments below. Is this a good idea, bad idea, or should it just be open to everyone as it is now? Let me know your thoughts on that. So AOC accuses cinema of putting lobbyists over people and shows off higher fundraising hauls. So if we look at this tweet right here, so AOC said, it's 2021. You don't have to put corporate lobbyists over people to legislate, fundraise, and win. It's insulting to tell everyday people who work tirelessly for a majority that they must suffer insane drug prices, no voting rights, and climate disaster for political convenience, and then shows that AOC got more money than Kyrsten Sinema. So there's been an ongoing battles with progressives saying that Joe Manchin's wife is getting $1 billion for her Appalachian Committee. Kyrsten Sinema is accepting, over $1 million in lobbyist fees and for campaign donations. Maybe that's the reason why Kyrsten Sinema is not on board, because she's being paid not to go with the bill. A lot of things like that, although nothing confirmed, but many progressives are calling out the centrists. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Rebecca Pear says, hey Dave, are you kidding me? I went shopping a couple of days ago and a 3-pound pot roast that was more fat than meat was $42. Bread has gone up 99 cents, from 99 cents to $1.99. Hot dogs were 98 cents a package to $2.19. Milk went from $1.99 a gallon to $3.49 a gallon. The average wage in the US is $8.50 an hour. So big changes going on in the grocery store. Things are getting a lot more expensive, and it seems like it's almost through all different categories of food that everything is just going up. It's not like, I saw the other day that bacon went up to $12 or something crazy like that, but not everybody has to eat bacon. But it seems that almost everything is like that. So thanks for pointing that out. Samara Saunders, I noticed a lot of mention of shortage and inventory of items other than food in the comments. Is there anything addressing this? So in terms of the supply chain crisis, looks like 40% of America's goods comes from the California ports, which is where there's dozens of ships that have probably millions of goods, of shipping containers that are waiting to get into the US and get into grocery stores or stores in general. So, and once that issue is solved, then I think then there won't be a shortage of other things, I think. I don't know, but they're saying that they're working on it. Also, be aware, more scammers here. Doesn't even say my name, it just has my logo and then WhatsApp. So yeah, please, no one fall for that. It's not me. Tara Kraus, what about people drawing SSDI? We are being left out of everything, so it seems. I agree. People on SSDI living on a fixed income, not enough to keep up with the inflation, not enough to keep up with rising food prices. I agree, there definitely needs to be something done for SSDI as well as some other groups as well. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Bella, this is the tip of the day. I want to tell you one thing that you should do. When you want to do something, you have the power to do whatever you want. One thing, you believe in yourself. That's the only trick. So that's all I like to tell you for today. Bye, this is the Bella.
Thank you so much for watching. So as I mentioned before, I'm giving out $200 to my subscribers. The only way you need to enter, I'll have details and instructions down in the description below. So below this video, click the Show More tab, and you'll see you just need to be subscribed to this channel, Wise Flies, my other two channels, Wise Buys and Wise Vibes, and then a link to a video of where you would have to comment, and then I search for your comment on that video. So I have all of it written out down in the description below. Very simple, just 3 steps. And if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here. I actually just published this one. It's on my Wise Buys channel of satin pillow covers that I got. You could check that out, or actually just click that one over there. Don't even click any other ones. And anyways, hope you have a great day. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.